This wooden bridge marks the arrival of these Cambodian refugees into Thailand. Soon, they will be living in the biggest refugee camp in the world, a bamboo city that does not yet exist. Less than an hour away by bus, Khao-I-Dang camp offers a temporary refuge from the continuing conflict along the Cambodian border. Other arrivals at Khao-I-Dang came from different parts of the border by less comfortable means. On arrival, every man, woman and child was given a brief medical inspection by a team of doctors and nurses from the International Red Cross. The more serious cases were taken directly to the recently assembled hospital wards for specialist treatment, but for most of the refugees, it was merely a puzzling introduction to their new home.
Six.
They had to walk nearly 2 kilometers to the hastily prepared site where they will build their new dwellings.
Come in. All move over this way. Come with me. No, yeah, I know, but that's the whole tree away. This is what Khao-I-Dang looked like about 3 days after it began. On the 4th day, the Khmer started to arrive here. We had to develop the site to keep just ahead of them. We'd come here and been shown a piece of pretty desolate hillside and told that it would be necessary to move up to 200,000 people here. Initially, we expected arrivals might be up to 10,000–15,000 a day. In fact, they were never more than 7,000 or 8,000. To meet that, though, it meant we had to develop the camp section by section to try and keep just a day or so ahead of the arrivals. In consequence, we put in the basic infrastructure, the roads, the water tanks and the toilets. And by day 4, when the first refugees arrived, we had prepared the first section.
The groups of 100 separated into smaller sections for distribution of bamboo and plastic. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees created the basic infrastructure of the camp, but all of the really time-consuming work was done by the refugees themselves. Convoys of food and construction materials from miles away became commonplace along Thailand's eastern border. Hundreds of tons, sometimes thousands, were shifted along a road system that was designed for a fraction of that amount. Items such as thatch and bamboo were readily available within Thailand, and other essential supplies were provided through international support. One fortunate development was that Thailand is one of the world's leading rice exporters, so all of the grain provided at Khao-I-Dang could be purchased by the United Nations within the country. A Khmer family could survive for more than a month just from one of these 100-kilogram sacks of rice. The refugees received all of their essential rations and cooking utensils from the UNHCR: rice, dried fish, cooking oil, and some fresh meat and vegetables. All of the supplementary feeding in Khao-I-Dang was supervised by the voluntary agency CARE. More than 20,000 people in the camp received hot meals twice a day. and after 2 months of this extra diet, the health improvements amongst the refugees were quite visible.
A group who worried us before the move began were the unaccompanied minors. We got alarming reports of how many there were at the 2 major border concentrations.
There were more than 1,000 unaccompanied children in the camp. A special effort was made to register each one and take down all of their particulars and what they could recall of their previous lives. A tracing program enabled officials to reunite some of the children with parents and relatives, but for others, no such happy ending was possible. Thousands of adults, too, have been lost or separated from Cambodian relatives abroad, who still hold out hope of one day resuming contacts with their loved ones. Such is their anxiety that rewards are frequently offered for any information about lost family members. There was a constant flow of letters and telegrams between Khao-I-Dang and the rest of the world, with the International Red Cross acting as the post office.
One of the first problems a camp like this faces is the medical needs. A lot of sick people arrived at the start of the life of this camp. We were far enough into the Cambodian crisis at that point that a lot of doctors had come from Europe and from America, and there was also a big contingent of people from the Thai Red Cross. There have been a few minor outbursts of sickness. We lost a few people through measles because we didn't have enough measles vaccine to start with to inject all the young children. There have been a few cases of meningitis. Again, we managed to stop that spreading, but always in crowded conditions like this, you live with the possibility of a major outbreak of some contagious disease.
The improved diet and attention from hundreds of doctors and nurses transformed the people's lives in a matter of weeks. There were always more births and deaths, and within a short period, the death rate fell to only 2 or 3 a day. There was now a positive climate where previously there had been anxiety and uncertainty. Cambodian artists and teachers were responsible for devising a complete range of textbooks for the tens of thousands of children in the camp, most of whom had not attended regular classes for at least 5 years. More than 300 primary and secondary school teachers formed the backbone of the educational system in the camp. Classes started just after dawn and continued throughout the day in 2-hour shifts in order to reach the greatest number of children. Not only the children are willing pupils. In their spare time between classes, the Cambodian teachers reverse roles and become English language students.
Show me your ears.
Khao-I-Dang's basic needs of food and water, health and education were all met due to the willingness of both officials and the Cambodians themselves to work together. The more complex problem, though, of finding a durable solution to their plight cannot be answered within the 3 square kilometers of Khao-I-Dang camp.